No Viagra and you're all jumping about.
Dave,
Can you remember the first one?
Guys!
If you can remember the first whiskey, now smell this. And I'm sure you'll find it's quite different. That first one was matured in American oak. This one's matured in European oak, which previously held Oloroso sherry. This would have been the traditional way of maturing whiskey right up until the Second World War, because until the Second World War we didn't know that America had all these bourbon casks, and they had this stupid law that says they can only use them once. So they were breaking up their bourbon casks for firewood and garden furniture until we figured that out and started buying them over here. If you buy a bourbon cask empty, it will cost you about 40 or 50 pounds. If you buy a sherry cask empty, it will cost you about 400 or 500 pounds. So it's much, much more expensive to mature whiskey in sherry casks. That's why it's not so common anymore. But it does give an entirely different aroma and flavour.
And how much is a bottle of that?
This would be about 38 quid a bottle.
Which one is this?
It varies. Abuna, it's called Aberlour Abuna. It's from the distillery in Aberlour. And the name of the whiskey is Abuna, which is a Gaelic word and it means the origin. They made this whiskey as a tribute to James Fleming, who built the distillery in 1879. So they wanted to make a whiskey that would have been recognisable to him as the kind of whiskey they made in the 19th century. So no artificial colouring, no chill filtering, no water, no dilution, full strength, whatever it comes from the cask. In this case it's 59.3. This is good, powerful whiskey. Now, the first one you might have as a brunch whiskey. This is much more a kind of, I don't know, with your dessert or after dinner. It actually goes very well with chocolate.
I was thinking more like an anaesthetic.
That too.
Goes well with a cocktail.
Just before surgery.
You want Viagra and an anaesthetic. You want the best of both worlds.
Depends on your point of view.
Viagra for you, anaesthetic for me.
You took my Is that the only thing that ever happens?
I think that would be a good arrangement.
I think it's going to be in.
Now, just to prove to you that this whiskey goes well with chocolate, I have written some poems on the subject. And these are limericks. I've done a lot of research into the Viagric effect of this whiskey, and I discovered this chocolate pairing by accident because, well, to tell you the truth, I expect the men to pay attention. The women, it doesn't matter. Viagra in whiskey can only be achieved if you go for old, full-strength, sherry-matured whiskey. Anything else doesn't really work. And blended whiskey has the opposite effect. It's what the English call brewer's droop. Up here it's distiller's dangle. But you can experience side effects from drinking this stuff in order to get Viagric results. And the most common side effect is that you can lose all feeling in your arms and legs. Now, it's okay because the Viagra effect is still evident, but you do need an understanding partner. Because you could be open to ridicule, lying there like a jellyfish waving a stick. So, what you do...
This is different because?
You really have the wrong partner.
So, what you do is you give your girlfriend, wife, mother, whatever, you give her, tea lady, whatever, you give her one or two of these, pour her a stiff one if you like, and give her it with chocolate. And after a couple of abunas and dark chocolate, she doesn't care if it's working or not. This is a poem. The There was an old man from Corunna who ate chocolate dipped in abuna. He said, "This great thing has sweetened death's sting, but I wish I'd discovered it sooner." There once was a hot air ballooner who dined on the deck of a schooner. It ended in bliss with dark chocolate, Swiss, and a wine glass filled with abuna. A lady from Tristan da Cunha went solar and stellar and lunar on board of a rocket made out of chocolate and powered along by abuna. There once was a fella named Spooner who fancied himself as a crooner. He sang a few bars about bocolate chars which he ate with a bass of a glooner. Didn't think everybody would get that. When Karl Orff composed O Fortuna, he was probably drunk on abuna. But the chocolate bars in ladies' boudoirs, why, that's just a scandalous rumour. A 90-year-old honeymooner found his bride had a poor sense of humour. When he couldn't perform, she replaced poor old Norm with a king-sized Twix and abuna. Now, what does this one smell like then? Fruitcake. Chocolate, yeah.
Chocolate fruitcake, chocolate.
Figs and dates.
Raisins.
Yeah, it's busy.
Anything like it.
Thank you.